Imagine you're standing at a crossroads. Your heart is racing, your stomach is in knots, and a voice inside screams, "Don't do it! Run!"
You call it intuition. You call it your gut feeling.
But what if I told you that voice isn't a guardian angel? What if it's a sophisticated hacker inside your own brain, using your past trauma to build a digital prison? Welcome to the ultimate gaslighting of the 21st century, for a generation raised on TikTok manifestations and main character energy. We've been told to always trust our inner voice. But here's the terrifying truth. Your ego is a master of disguise. It's been studying you since the day you were born. It knows your deepest insecurities, your thirst for validation, and your fear of being cringe. It can mimic the voice of God, the whispers of the universe, or the guidance of an angel, just to keep you stuck in your comfort zone. We're living in a glitch where fear is sold as wisdom. You think you're following your soul, but you're actually just following a broken algorithm of survival. In the next 10 minutes, we're going to strip away the mask. We're going to look at the ancient Buddhist blueprints of the mind to show you how to debug this system. Because if you can't tell the difference between your intuition and your ego, you aren't driving the car, you're the passenger in a vehicle hijacked by a ghost. By the end of this, you won't just listen. You will finally see, I've been where you are. Last Tuesday, I found myself staring at a mountain of unwashed dishes, my phone vibrating with notifications I didn't want to answer. My internal voice was screaming, "You're falling behind. You should be meditating. You should be journaling. You should be more." Does that sound like a guardian angel to you? Or does it sound like a middle manager at a soul-sucking corporate job? We've been sold this main character energy lifestyle, but nobody told us the script was written by our insecurities. I remember a night months ago when I followed what I thought was intuition to quit a project that felt off. 2 days later, I realized it wasn't intuition. It was just my ego being terrified of failure. I had dressed up my cowardice in the silk robes of spirituality. Think about Neo in the Matrix. He didn't know he was in a simulation until he saw the glitch, the cat that walked by twice. Your glitch is that feeling of burnout after you supposedly followed your heart. If your intuition leads you to a place of constant anxiety, exhaustion, and isolation, honey, that wasn't your angel talking. That was the algorithm. The ego loves a crisis. It feeds on your existential dread. It's like Netflix, it wants to keep you binge watching your own suffering, so you never hit the power button. We've become addicts of our own mental noise, mistaking the volume of the voice for the truth of the message. But real intuition, it doesn't scream. It doesn't demand. It's the silence between the waves of your panic attacks. It's the space you find when you finally stop trying to fix yourself and just breathe. Let's be real for a second. We've all tried to buy our way out of this existential dread. We buy the $80 yoga mat, the mindfulness apps, the aesthetic journals. We treat our souls like a startup that just needs better funding. I did the same. I thought if I could just check enough boxes: success, fitness, spiritual hobbies, the noise would stop. But here's the glitch. The ego is the one buying the yoga mat. The ego is the one checking the boxes. It's like trying to put out a fire by pouring gasoline on it and calling it holy water. Think about the character of Joe in Soul. He thought the spark was his career, his talent, his achievement. He spent his whole life chasing a destination, only to get there and realize it's just another room. That's the most American nightmare. There is getting everything you ever wanted, and still feeling like a fraud. I remember sitting in a high-end cafe in GLI, looking at the mountains, and realizing I wasn't actually looking at them. I was framing them for a story in my head. My ego was narrating my life, instead of letting me live it. I was so busy being the director of my life that I forgot how to be the experience. This is where the crisis hits. When you realize that your intuition hasn't been guiding you toward happiness, it's been guiding you toward reputation. Your ego doesn't want you to be happy. It wants you to be important. It wants you to be a somebody so it can survive. But your true intuition, the voice of the angel, it's okay with you being a nobody, because in the silence of being nobody, you finally become everything. We are terrified of that silence. We fill it with podcasts, white noise, and constant mental chatter, because the moment the noise stops, the ego starts to die. And the ego will do anything to stay alive, including faking a spiritual awakening, just to keep you under its thumb. To understand the glitch in your intuition, we have to look at the greatest cosmic ego trip ever told. In ancient Eastern mythology, there is a figure called Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. He is brilliant, immortal, and possesses 72 transformations. He is the ultimate General Z icon. He rebels against heaven, demands his own throne, and believes his power has no limit. One day, Wukong bets the Buddha that he can jump to the very edge of the universe. With a single somersault, he flies across thousands of miles. He reaches the literal end of existence, where he finds 5 massive pink pillars reaching into the void. To prove he was there, he pees at the base of the middle pillar and writes, "The great sage was here." He flies back, triumphant. He tells the Buddha, "I've seen the edge of the world. Your realm is nothing to me." The Buddha just smiles and opens his hand. There, at the base of his middle finger, was a tiny stain of urine and the words, "The great sage was here." The Monkey King didn't travel anywhere. He was just running in circles, inside the palm of a higher consciousness he couldn't even fathom. This is exactly what happens when you follow your ego intuition. You think you're making a breakthrough. You think you're finding yourself by quitting that job, ending that relationship, or moving to a new city. Your ego says, "Look at me. I'm free. I'm transcending." But you're just peeing on the Buddha's finger. You're moving within the boundaries of your own programmed fear, calling it freedom. Your ego is like a deepfake of the divine. It's so good at mimicking light that you don't realize you're in a dark room. It creates a spiritual version of itself, a Zen ego, a healed ego just to stay in control. The internal war isn't between good and evil. It's between the loud, shape-shifting brilliance of the monkey and the silent, immovable reality of the palm. And the monkey is losing, because he doesn't realize that the war itself is his biggest delusion. Here is the most dangerous part of the glitch. The ego doesn't mind being caught. In fact, once you start watching this video, your ego will say, "Wow, this is deep. I am finally understanding how the ego works. I am becoming so much more aware than everyone else." See what just happened? The hacker just promoted himself to security guard. This is the spiritual trap that's consuming General Z right now. We think that by learning the vocabulary of enlightenment, we are enlightened. We trade our corporate ego for a Zen ego. We stop bragging about money and start bragging about our inner peace or how many hours we can meditate. But if there is still an I who is proud of being peaceful, you haven't found your intuition. You've just given the Monkey King a more expensive outfit. The internal war reaches its peak when you realize that the one trying to find the truth is the very thing preventing it. It's like a flashlight trying to turn around to see its own batteries. It's impossible. In the ancient hidden kingdom of Shambhala, they say the final battle isn't against an outside army. It's against the Lord of Three Realms, the personification of our own mental projections. The warriors of Shambhala don't win by fighting. They win by stopping. Think about your intuition again. When you're desperate for an answer, your mind becomes a storm. The ego loves the storm because it can hide in the waves. It whispers, "Look harder, analyze more, ask the universe again." It keeps you in a state of seeking, because as long as you are seeking, you aren't arriving. Real intuition, the voice of the divine, doesn't need to be found. It's what's left when the seeker finally gives up. It's the silence that remains when the Monkey King stops screaming for attention and notices, for the first time, the warmth of the sun on his face. The war ends not with a victory, but with a surrender. Not a surrender to a master, but a surrender to the fact that you are not the one performing. You've been waiting for the answer.
How do you tell them apart? How do you know if it's the angel or the hacker?
Here is the big reveal. The truth that the ego has been hiding from you behind all its clever words. The ego speaks in stories. Real intuition speaks in states. The ego is loud, frantic, and always has a list of reasons why you must act now. It uses phrases like "what if," "I should," or "this will make me look good." It's like a clickbait headline for your life. But real intuition, the voice of the divine, doesn't need to justify itself. It is a feeling of reasonless certainty. It's not happy, it's not sad. It's just solid. It doesn't scream "run." It calmly knows this path is done. You don't need to manifest it. You can't hack it. It's the difference between a wave crashing on the shore of the ego and the deep, silent current underneath your soul. So, here is your debug code. The next time your mind is swirling with a choice, do not think. Stop. Implement the 3-breath debugging technique. Breath 1, inhale. Notice the temperature of the air in your nose. You are grounding yourself. Breath 2, inhale. Observe the physical sensation in your stomach or chest. Is it tight? Is it fluttering? You are identifying the ego's signature. Breath 3, inhale. Ask yourself, am I asking for a story Or am I waiting for a state? Don't look for an answer. Just be the space for the certainty to arrive. It might take days. It might take a single second. But real intuition is always quiet. It waits for you to turn off the Spotify of your own mind. Your existential dread isn't a problem to be solved. It's a symptom that you are finally ready to wake up from the simulation. Stop trying to find your angel. Stop fighting your hacker. Just become the silence where they both dissolve. That is where you've always been. That is who you truly are. Now, debug.